Hello, style lovers and old-fashioned dreamers. I'm Owl the Storyteller, and today we're going into the fancy world of early Belle Époque fashion. Back then, clothes weren't just something you wore, they told a story. Every hemline quietly showed off your class, and every corset loudly declared your status. After the war between France and Prussia and the Paris Commune, France covered its hurts with fancy things. In this new Belle Époque time, fashion became like a social rulebook. Bustles came back, silk flowed, and the city turned into a fashion show of fancy style that had secret meanings. Let's quickly go over the timeline. From 1871 to 1875, you would see simple bustles and dull colors. It was all about being modest and sad after the war. From 1876 to 1882, clothes became slimmer, and shapes looked more natural. City elegance and middle-class neatness became popular. And by 1883 to 1889, big bustles and fancy clothes were back. Every ruffle and jewel screamed wealth, fancy style, and confidence. But these weren't just trends, they were signals. Your clothes told people your social class before you even said a word. Let's start at the top. The upper class? Think of fancy clothing makers like Worth and Doucet. Long trains swept the floors, velvet shined, and aigrettes, those amazing feather decorations, sat on top of fancy hairstyles. Leisure clothes like tea gowns quietly bragged, "I don't need to work." Being impractical was the whole point. It screamed, "I'm rich." The middle class got creative. They bought paper patterns, used cotton and wool to copy the rich, and sewed their own dresses at home. Being modest was their sign of being good. Fashion was about what they hoped to be. It literally sewed respectability. Working-class women wore simple cotton, a mix of linen and wool, and always aprons. Many wore clothes given to them by their bosses. Their outfits showed they were servants, not themselves. Now let's talk about how individual clothes acted like social badges. A tea gown meant easy, graceful living at home for the rich. Ball gowns, purely for the elite. They were full of lace, too much fabric, and formal femininity. Walking suits were for both middle and upper class. Practical, smart, and a sign of modern respectability. Working uniforms, on the other hand, were all about getting the job done. Often chosen by employers, not the person wearing them. Fashion photos and magazines like La Mode Illustrée helped trends spread, but always with clear differences between classes. Art and city life also showed these social levels. Jean Barreau painted Parisian women walking around in lace and feathers, turning streets into runways. Haussmann's wide streets were built for seeing and being seen. Fashion was a parade, and photo studios captured these looks forever. Fashion as who you are, saved in old-fashioned brown and ink. To walk in silk meant you were seen as civilized. To pose in satin meant you would be remembered. So fashion in the early Belle Époque wasn't just made well, it was smart. From corsets to cuffs, every detail showed a person's place in society. I'm Owl the Storyteller. If you love this trip through fabric and form, don't forget to like, subscribe, and wear your history proudly. Like and subscribe to support us.